10 cards rated cause I'm saved by the 10 cards rated cause I'm saved by the... That is the wrong theme song. 288 is the day that we are on, in case you are a stickler for numbers. I believe that's the number in question. Let us go ahead and look at what the first card of the day is today. It's Primordial Ooze from Legends, a single red mana for Summon Ooze. This is a 1/1 that must attack each turn if able. Gains +1/+1 at the end of your upkeep. Let's see how this is written in Oracle text. Now it says at the beginning of your upkeep, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Then you may pay X, X being the number of +1/+1 counters on it. If you don't, tap this creature, deals X damage to you. That's awful. I guess it's technically, the thing I should point out about this is that Ooze actually was a played 1-drop in aggro decks in red for a little bit. Amazingly, if you play it on turn 1, then it's going to take the majority of your mana most turns. The problem is, or I guess the good thing is, that it's like a 1 mana 4/4 on some turns. The issue is if you don't play a land on a given turn, then it starts to suck. Like a lot. It will tap, it will deal the damage to you. But a 1 mana 3/3 was unheard of back then, and this can technically give that to you. The card is still uniquely terrible, to be honest. You can't like this card too much. I'll give it a 1.3. I think that it is like actually actively bad, and a card you should like never put in any of your Magic decks, more or less. Kaalia of the Vast is a different story, though. This is from Commander 2011. 4 mana, 1, a white, a black, and a red for a 2/2 legendary human cleric with flying. Whenever Kaalia of the Vast attacks an opponent, you may put an angel, demon, or dragon creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking the opponent. This card is $5 at its lowest price point from Double Masters. You can probably get one for like $4, really. And I think that's worth it. This is one of the more fun commanders to build around. And I think it's like in the top 10 on EDA Trek. In the like most popular commanders from the last 2 years, and has been for a really, really long time. Kaalia is fantastic. What a good Magic card, honestly. So just because of not only the unique commander tax, but the fact that it works with so many cool creature types, you can actually build a deck that has all 3 creature types, or just focus on demons or focus on dragons, you know, and that's always fun. Kaalia is crazy. Love the Mardu color combination too. Gives you a lot to work with, and really the best removal spells to work with too, the best tutors to work with. Just what a crazy Magic card, dude. Kaalia is an Ask the Audience. I don't think I've asked the audience in a little while here. I haven't been on in a while, except for yesterday, and I didn't get to ask you guys then. So I want to know how you feel about Kaalia of the Vast. What would you rate this card in casual commander? That was enough time. I've been drinking 0 sugar sodas lately. I've been trying to not drink all my calories and maybe cut back on sugar intake at the same time. And I know these will make you turn colors and glow in the dark and all that stuff sometimes, but that's what people say about 0 sugar soda. But if you're going to try a 0 sugar soda, I really think this Sunkissed Orange, just regular old Sunkissed 0 sugar, is delicious. But now you've certainly had enough time to rate this card. I'm going to give Kaalia of the Vast an 8.2. I really am. I think Kaalia is at least an 8.2 and maybe higher. Again, this is one of the most popular commanders over the last 2 years consistently. So I think in casual commander, it's really good. I think in CEDH, it's pretty freaking good. Anyway, we'll move on to Stasis Cocoon. This is from 5th Dawn, and oddly only 5th Dawn, considering what it does. It's a pacifism effect, 1 and a white for enchant artifact. Enchanted artifacts' activated abilities cannot be played, and if that artifact is a creature, it cannot attack or block. Stasis Cocoon was actually like a somewhat popular card back in the day when 5th Dawn came out. That's because Affinity was the most popular deck in the format. But honestly, the decks that combated Affinity were most often green and black. They played like Viridian Shaman and stuff, and Tooth and Nail decks also played Viridian Shaman, and a lot of forests to combat the Affinity threat back then. But when you would see planes, often Stasis Cocoon is a card you'd see lumped into the sideboard or the main deck. So it's got its place in Magic history for hitting Archbound Ravagers and stuff like that. Arcbound Ravagers. And whatnot. But for the most part, it's really not a very impressive card anymore, if it ever really was. So I'm going to give this a 3.3 as a kind of, basic removal spell. I guess you can put it on your opponent's Soul Ring 4.5. No, let's stick with 3.3 for now. Next is Goblin Skyraider. Uniquely terrible goblin here. Originally printed in Onslaught. This is worse than a Windrake, but it has the Goblin creature type. It also has the Warrior creature type nowadays. 3 mana, 2 and a red for a 1/2 flying goblin. That's it. It's Bird Maiden with a relevant creature type. Isn't that good? No, it's terrible. I'm going to give this a 1.9. And that extra like 0.7 of a point that I'm giving it is because it has a good keyword and a good creature type. But I won't give it. You don't get to dip into the 2s. You don't. How do you even fly? Those wings don't fly. Anyway, let's. Next is Opal Palace from Warhammer. Have I seen this? I don't remember having seen this. Maybe. This art looks a lot more familiar. So you tap it for a colorless, or you can pay 1 and tap it and add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. If you spend this mana to cast your commander, enters the battlefield with a number of additional +1/+1 counters on it equal to the number of times it's been cast from the command zone this game. So I have to spend an extra mana on top of commander tax, but it will get a bunch of counters. Well, this card's like 17 cents, so I guess it's not a thing that like everyone plays in their commander deck. It's not command tower. You have to pay the mana to get a mana, and that's not great. I don't hate it though. I'm gonna give this like a 5, right? I mean, let me know if I'm just an idiot, but I wouldn't put this in like most commander decks, but I could see like especially decks that care about +1/+1 counters, this gets like much better. Or if you have like, a commander that you have to have on the table, it's a big like removal lightning rod. Or if you have like a cheap commander, like a 1 or 2 mana commander that you're going to be casting a lot over the course of a game. Like, yeah, man, I could see this. I could. Citadel of Pain. I love this card. Only ever printed in Prophecy. This is 3 mana, 2 and a red for an enchantment. At the end of each player's turn, Citadel of Pain deals X damage to that player, X being the number of untapped lands that he or she controls. Now this is almost $5, so I guess Rhystic Study isn't the only card from Prophecy that like had kind of a glow up, after Commander became a format. Prophecy is known as maybe in the top 3 or top 5 worst sets of all time. A lot of people were caught up in the early boom of Magic the Gathering, from Fallen Empires and Ice Age and Alliances on. A lot of us started getting into Magic in our early years. And we loved Alliances, we loved Visions, we loved Mirage, we loved Tempest. We even loved the Urza's block, maybe the most powerful single block of sets that's ever been printed. As unfair as it was, we loved it, man. That was our stuff right there. But then Masks came out, Mercadian Masks, and soon after Prophecy hit the streets. And I feel like those 2 sets really, like, people stayed through Homelands, but people did not stay through Masks and Prophecy for whatever reason. A lot of people hated those sets. They were really low power, But again, Citadel of Pain still, it looks like a pretty sick card, man. Basically, they can't do stuff during other people's turns. No one can do stuff during other people's turns unless they want to take some damage. And they might want to take some damage. I could see leaving counter shields up. It's just 2 mana and taking 2 damage every turn, but that will add up. You get enchantment synergies off of this too and all kinds of stuff. I think this is a really, really neat card to play in Commander. I really do. I'd like to also ask the audience on this. What do you think Citadel of Pain is worth in casual Commander, score-wise? What do you think it is? Because I'm not going to hem and haw and give you time on this one. I'm just going to go ahead and rate this card a 6. I'm just going to give it a 6. I bet this card is really, 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 really annoying on a commander table, and now I want to try it. I bet, because I've sold my collection like 2 or 3 times in my life, because I've been playing Magic 30 years, but I've kept all my bulk like every time, and I bet I could go find this somewhere in my house. I bet I could. But yeah, I'll give it a 6. I want to know what you think, though. I want to know if you think I'm an idiot, because there's a reason this card's $5. It looks really annoying to play around. Next is Red Elemental Blast. We've actually done this card before, but it's like an 8. Like, seriously, this card is really, really, really freaking good, dude. We'll move on to a Werewolf Pack Leader. Nice. Okay, Pack Leader is 2 green for a 3/3 human werewolf with pack tactics. Whenever Werewolf Pack Leader attacks, if you attack with creatures total power 6 or greater this combat, you get to draw a card. If you pay 4 mana until EOT, Werewolf Pack Leader has base PT 5/3, gains trample, and is not a human. This is still 60 cents to buy. I figured it would have bottomed out to like 20 cents by now, but maybe people still like it. It's just a solid creature, man. A 2-mana 3/3 is okay by itself. It can sometimes draw you cards, and it's not even that hard for it to draw you cards. Like the next turn, if you play a haste guy, if you pay 4 mana, it gets trample. That's really important, and it gets like 2 extra points. Just a great 2-drop that like grows as the game gets larger, has the potential to put more cards in your hand. Not a lot of 2-drops are like that. So, I know that we're mostly talking about like Cash Commander here, and the card's probably not amazing there, but just for its, prowess in constructed play. I'm going to give this card like a 5.7, man. And I will say this too. In your like big guys commander deck, it's really not a terrible 2-drop. It's really not. Not a whole lot of 2s draw you cards. So take a look at it, man. Next is Asmira Holy Avenger. This is part of the reserve list. It's from Mirage, and it is illustrated by our favorite Magic artist. It is Rebecca Gay time, guys. 4 mana, 2 a green and a white for a 2/3 human cleric that is also a legend. She has flying, and at the beginning of each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Asmira Holy Avenger for each creature put into your graveyard from play that turn. So this is the end of every turn, the beginning of each end step, which is really, really neat. If you block with creatures, Asmira gets larger. It's going to take a few creatures of yours dying for this to be the correct rate. Like, gosh, what if 4 mana for maybe a 4/5 flyer is about right? So, like, 2 of your guys have to die. Really, 3 or 4 of your guys have to die for it to be really worth it. And at the end of the day, she doesn't actually do anything. That's the problem, is that she doesn't do anything truly busted, So I can't really give this a high score. I think the $1.11 is mostly because it's a rare that's on the reserve list. I don't know that many people are doing much with this, but it might be cute in cube or something. I'm going to give this a 3.4. I think that it's actually pretty bad for the most part, but it's cool. It is a cool, like, interesting design. But next is Trinket Mage. Oh boy. Oh goodness, it's Trinket Mage. This is originally printed in 5th Dawn. You can get it for the low, extremely low, steal-worthy price of 40 cents. I think it's a great deal for a Trinket Mage. 3 mana, 2 and a blue for a 2/2 human wizard. When it comes into play, search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost 1 or less. Reveal it. Put it into your hand. If you do, shuffle your library. So, still fantastic. Man, okay, so the retro frame one costs like $3. That's a little bit of a surprise. Retro frame does not often mean that the card costs more. For whatever reason, retro frames cost less some of the time. But this card looks good with the retro frame. It looks like it should have a retro frame, Trinket Mage, man, some good stuff today, right, guys? I'm going to give this... Oh, goodness. That's tough. I'm going to give Trinket Mage a 6.1. And I know some people might be watching this like, damn, dog, a 6.1. Yeah, this card's that good. I don't think it's going to surprise everybody. This is a fine tutor and a color that doesn't get all the tutors, I think Trophy Mage is probably better. Some of the ones that get larger artifacts, but obviously in constructed environments, this has gone and gotten like 0-cost artifacts before. And there are plenty of 1-cost artifacts that you might not necessarily build your entire deck around. There are some, but there are plenty of 1-cost artifacts that Trinket Mage can go get in your commander deck. And even if you didn't build your whole deck around it, it's great. Again, go get your Soul Ring. That's great. Or just even like a Wayfarer's Bauble or something. Like, there's always something for Trinket Mage to do. And I think if those are the only tricks for it to do, it doesn't really justify its inclusion in your deck. But if you have Soul Ring, Wayfarer's Bauble, and like, Ghost Vacuum, Millennium Calendar, like, the Enigma Jewel, like any number of like weird 1-drop artifacts you could be playing. Basilisk Collar, there's a lot of stuff that you can really kind of drum up in your imagination once you start thinking about it. So Trinket Mage is always good. 6.1 is potentially kind of low. Let me know if you think that's low. If you think it's high, you're wrong. Agitator Ant is from Commander 2020, and it is our bonus card of the day. 3 mana, 2 and a red for a 2/2 insect. At the beginning of your end step, each player may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature they control. Goad each creature that had counters put on it this way. Okay, so this is like 20 cents to buy, and that sounds about right. Interesting, it's a red card that keeps people from attacking you. Goad is a red kind of coded ability. I'll say that, but it is neat to have something that does something the turn it comes into play. It can come out pretty early, or it can like be a double or triple spell, with other things on a later turn. And it doesn't cost you that much mana. And it's always going to do something. You know, it'll keep people off your back for a few turns at the very least. And that's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. They do get to pick the creature that gets the counter, so they could still attack you with the thing you don't want to be attacking you. So keep that in mind. I don't know if this is going to work the way I want it to a lot of the times, but still kind of like it. Kind of a tough judgment on this. I don't love Goad as an ability. I know a lot of players do, but I've just never been the hugest fan of Goad. I really haven't. I'm going to give this card a 3.9. But this is another one. Today is full of cards I want you to tell me about. Let me know if I'm just way off or if it should be lower, you know. But I do have a feeling that this could be like in the high 4s if you're doing it right. And I'm just not seeing that, you know. But ultimately, I think that there are ways, too many ways around this, to be honest. So, and it's each player. You're actually giving people, 8 power every turn, and then like they kill the Agitator Ant, and now they can come in on you with these like huge dudes in a turn or two. So don't love that. Is this card actually kind of bad? Is it actually? Let me reevaluate. Each player can do that. So like they're not attacking you with guys that turn, but again, like just kill the ant and then it's on. So I think I'm actually going to give this like a 2.3. I think I am. The more I look at it, the more I like really, really don't like this card. So, but let me know if I'm just dead wrong, because I am sometimes. We all are, but me especially. Anyway, y'all, that's all I've got for this one. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.